about slants and digs and outs. And to be honest, fellas, talking mostly about how to beat man coverage. When we attack zone, call it a high-low concept with a dig for our purposes, timing, depth, spacing of the concept. So if we hit our correct depth, if we have an efficient break point, if we get out of that break on time, we should have a chance to be open if we've designed a zone coverage concept correctly. To be honest, as I've gone to clinics and we're learning the very basics, I think hoping to give you guys a little bit more out of it, maybe some different route plans that you guys might not have seen or heard or thought of as we think about beating man coverage, where I think most wide receiver coaches are making their money. So number one, the thing that we care about most at Penn State when it comes to beating man coverage is you got to have a plan. It's the inherent advantage of playing wide receiver. We know where we're going. The DB does not. And if you think about what man coverage is, it's really an empowering thing for a wideout because he needs to stay square and in front of us. So if we push vertical, tends to be that they back up. If we move inside, they move inside with us. So they're meant to mirror our movements. And since we kind of know that, it gives us the power to put them where we want them. Again, if I slide outside, I'm going to move that DB outside with me. So number one, have a plan. You got to know where you're going and you have to have an idea of how you're going to get there. We formulate our plans based on what we see as rule number 2 and 3 here. We call that the golden rule of route running. All right. And it's a simple idea. If the DB is already where you want him to be, this route plan is designed to leave him there. If the DB is where we need to go, maybe he's sitting outside leverage and I have an outside route, or on a dig or a slant, he's inside leverage and I have an in-breaking route. All right. When he's where we want to go, we bring him to us. Okay. And we'll get into more of that as we see some of these routes take shape. But the thought is these DBs, they can only stop us with their body or with their hands. And you could put a chair down in the middle of routes on air, and you could tell wide receivers, avoid the chair and run your route. Most of the time, we got wide receivers who aren't crashing directly into a DB's body. So the real fight is really this fight here, the fight through the DB's hands. But as we kind of talk about everything, when we think about it, what's our plan for the DB's body? That's going to be handled with footwork, with body language, with some of the things that we're doing in the release game. And then our hands have got to be active. And if the DB is reaching out to grab or restrict our movement, we've got to have a plan of how to defeat the DB's hands as well. Okay.